Welcome, race fans, out to Homestead Homestead Speedway here tonight. They will be. Actually, let's get some sound going here. We didn't have any of the track sound going. We do now, and this is for everything here tonight. And I think we already have crowned the champion. We're not gonna make it official till after the race, of course. Only 12 drivers out here tonight. Paul needed more than 18 drivers to have a shot of losing that title tonight. So we'll take a look at the top 10 in points as they stand right now. Paul Zoda is on top of the point standings by 19 points. Dean Viney is in second. Dwayne LaPrade currently in third. Gary Schenk in fourth, Michael Palmer fifth, Lynn McNeese sixth, John Stanley seventh, John Estes eighth, Jim Locking ninth, and Paul Cohen rounding out your top 10 in points as they go into the championship race here at Homestead. We are in qualifying. Let's take a look at some of those times here. Gary Schenk holding on to the pole, Paul Cohen in second, Lynn McNeese in third, David Gainforth fourth, and Dean Viney rounding out your top 5 in qualifying times. Paul Zoda, the points leader, back in 8th. He is the last truck, or the slowest truck out there right now in qualifying. John Stanley, Jim Locking, Mark McFadden, and Timothy Keller, only drivers yet to take times here tonight. We are waiting for these guys to finish up qualifying. Do have a couple more times rolling in. Mark McFadden takes the time, putting him in 9th. He's gonna run his second lap a little bit faster, get a faster time in there. Not gonna move him up any though. We are still waiting for the end of qualifying here. I believe they are coming near the end here. We're just waiting for the switch. Nobody on the track. Still didn't have 3 drivers take times. Didn't even see those 3 drivers on the track near the end of practice. And there we are. There is the checker flag signifying the end of qualifying. Let's go ahead and take a look at our grid for tonight. Just one moment. There we go. Let's take a look at the grid. Gary Schenk will start on the pole tonight, racing out of Pennsylvania. Paul Cohen will start second tonight, racing out of New England. The 84 Lynn McNeese will be starting third. The 101 of David Gainforth and his Mr. Bubble Machine will be starting in the 4th spot. Dean Viney in the 71 will be starting 5th. The 13 of Dwayne LaPrade will be starting 6th tonight. Oops. The 31 of Michael Palmer will start 7th. Paul Zoda, racing for Somo Racing, will start 8th tonight. He is the points leader going into this race. Mark McFadden in the 48 will be starting 9th. The 91 of Jim Locking will start 10th tonight. Timothy Keller will start 11th tonight, racing that number 4 truck. The number 12 of John Stanley will be starting in 12th, rounding out our field for the night. So we are waiting for these guys to get going, get going on their pace lap. It does look like 2 drivers have yet to grid. That is the 12 of John Stanley and the 48 of Mark McFadden, who we did see in practice. And I believe they have all gridded up now as actually we see all the drivers on the grid, and they are getting the okay to pull out of the pits here. Just waiting for that pace car to take off. There it goes. So let's go out to our leader, Gary Shank, as he'll get these guys going for the last time here in this season of the GAC Truck Series. I haven't gotten official word from owner Dean Viney what they'll be doing their next season, but you can be for sure it will be live here on Max Speed TV 3. And there goes the pace car dipping in. Gary Shank in the 25 will bring him to the line. Green flag is out for the championship race here at Homestead. Into corner number 1, the 51 of Paul Cohen backing off there a little bit. The 84 Lynn McNeese on that inside line. The 101 of David Gainforth also putting on the pressure behind Paul Cohen. They're looking around. Got one off the pace. That is the 12 of John Stanley. Look at that 3 wide. David Gainforth is going to make a pass on the 51 of Paul Cohen. And now Lynn McNeese trying to make the run on the inside line to get the pass on Gary Shank. And it looks like Gary is going to get the advantage on that high line. We'll see how that high line develops throughout the race. A little bumping on the backstretch. Gary Shank still sits out front. Then you have Lynn McNeese in third. You have David Gainforth fourth, Dean Viney. And in fifth tonight is Paul Cohen, who's moving up to fourth now. Go back and watch Paul Cohen, who started in second tonight on that front row. And there's still a lot of battle going on around this track. 3 laps into this race, all clean. Guys have been giving each other a lot of respect. These guys have been racing with each other throughout the whole season. So this league does not really change a lot of drivers. They go 3 wide into turn number 1. Dean Viney, Paul Cohen, and on the high side is Dwayne LaPrade in that Jelly Belly machine. They are going to clear things out. Paul Cohen going to drop back behind those 2. Does he look to the middle once again? Doesn't look like he will, because now he's got Paul Zota on the inside line. So we are seeing that inside line work to an effect here tonight. We have seen a couple passes on the high side, but we do know the guys on the low side have been able to hang with the high side. So maybe it all... I know turn 1 and 2, you're going to want to prefer that high side. Turn 3 and 4, it's looking like the low side is the place to be, because Paul Zota just blew by the 51 on Paul Cohen. And let's take a look back up at the front, because Lynn McNeese has passed Gary Shank and actually has taken a pretty good lead here. We got another battle going on for the third position. Dean Viney trying to get into the mix on that low side. And now Dwayne LaPrade doing the same thing Dean was. He's getting to the inside of the 101 of David Gainforth. He's going to make the pass. He does clear him. He's going to take the third spot. Now he's putting the pressure on the 84 of Lynn McNeese, who was just passed up by Gary Shank a moment ago. So Gary Shank is back in your lead right now. The back and forth Lynn and Gary went at the start of this race. Dwayne has been trying to hang in there this whole time, and then you have a lot of battling from there on back. And now Dwayne LaPrade does have the high side on Lynn McNeese. And do we see a run by Dwayne LaPrade now? He's going to pass Lynn McNeese and move into that second spot. We saw him start to catch. It looked like he was starting to catch Gary there at the exit of the corner. I'm not sure if he had to check up, but now he does have that inside line. Door to door they go into turn number 1. Dwayne's going to blow by Gary Shank and take the lead here at Homestead on lap 10. So they're pretty much single file all the way back. Take a look back to see where our first side-by-side battle is. Actually, everybody is single file here tonight. Go back up front to Gary Shank, who is now sitting in second. He's given up a pretty good amount of time to Dwayne LaPrade, as him and Lynn McNeese battled it out pretty early. May have burned him up pretty quickly while Dwayne was sitting back there going high the whole time. You have more battle going on behind them. Dean Viney on the inside is going to go back to single file. I believe you look back there, that's the 91 of Paul Cohen. And we're seeing a lot of guys look around and try to find the spot to make the pass. Paul Zota now on the inside of Paul Cohen. We're going to go back to that battle. Paul Cohen on the outside. We'll see how the run on the exits go. And we're seeing a lot of speed on that high side when you exit out of the corners. But then they gain it right back, really, going into 3 and 4. Paul Cohen tried one, or Paul Zota tried once again on Paul Cohen. Looks to the high side. It doesn't look like he's gonna get the run he wants. Dwayne LaPrade is cruising out front now. Now 1.5 or almost 1.5 seconds ahead of second place Gary Shank. Lynn McNeese back there as well. And they're starting to run in danger because they have the 101 of David Gainforth back there trying to make a run on him. So 16 laps in the books. Dwayne LaPrade has now led 6 laps out here tonight. The other leaders were Gary Shank with 8 laps and Lynn McNeese with 1 lap. Take a look through the field here really quick, see where we got a battle. And the 4 of Timothy Keller trying to get to that inside line and trying to get around the 84 of Mark McFadden. And it doesn't look like he does have the speed right now to get around Mark. Go back up because this pack right here, this 5 truck pack, definitely has a battle going on. And actually, David Gainforth has fallen off quite a lot since he was up with the leaders. Paul Zoda on that inside line is going to move into, actually he's going to hold on to that 6th position. As now we're starting to see Lynn McNeese fall off a little bit. I'm starting to wonder how long can these guys go on a set of, or a tank of fuel here. Didn't get a chance to ask these guys. And Paul Zoda side by side with David Gainforth. And it didn't look like he had to run off because Paul Cohen is going to come right close to him and try. Actually, no, he's not going to get the run. They're going to go 3 wide though. And Paul Zoda actually going to clear the 101. So now Paul Zoda moving into the 4th spot. And now the 101 of David Gainforth coming down pit road. We aren't seeing any other takers right now. But I imagine we do see everybody else coming down soon. Paul Zoda right now sitting in that 4th spot. Let's go back up to our leader because Dwayne LaPrade is actually losing a little bit of time to the 25 of Gary Shank. So your top 10 as they sit right now is Dwayne LaPrade, Gary Shank, Lynn McNeese in 3rd, Paul Zoda in 4th, Paul Cohen 5th, Dean Viney 6th, Jim Locking 7th, Michael Palmer in 8th, and Timothy Keller 9th, and Mark McFadden rounding out your top 10, John Stanley and David Gainforth rounding out your field. And David Gainforth has yet to come off pit road, so I'm wondering maybe he got a little bit of damage and that's what was slowing him down so much. And the lead for Dwayne LaPrade has closed up a lot. And the 25 of Gary Shank right on him right now. Trying to make that pass. He's going to go bumper to bumper with him. And it looks like Dwayne is actually protecting that inside line right now. .25 will go inside. Door to door they go, going into turn number 3. Can Gary Shank hold on? Dwayne LaPrade on that outside line trying to keep that truck in line. And Gary Shank is going to make the pass. And it does look like he will beat him to the line. So Gary Shank will get his 9th lap lead of the night. Quarter of this race in the books, and Gary Shank back in the lead. Dwayne LaPrade now looking to that inside line, trying to get the run. He's going to peek in, not quite get it. He's going to go high coming out of the corner. And now Lynn McNeese mixing back into this. Lynn McNeese to the inside of Dwayne LaPrade. And Lynn McNeese looks to be making the pass on Dwayne LaPrade, who went basically to the wall in that corner. So your new leader will be Gary Shank, who has opened up a 0.7 lead at the moment. And David Gainforth has taken his truck behind the wall. So no cautions here yet tonight. 28, lap 28 right now. Gary Shank with 12 led, most laps led tonight so far is Dwayne LaPrade, who is at the back of the field right now. Oh, he is on pit road. Dwayne LaPrade will most likely go one lap down as he tries to get his pit stop in. And he will be counted as one lap down as he comes off of pit road. A lot of these guys still have to pit though. So maybe we are getting near that pit window. And we haven't seen anybody else come in. Dwayne LaPrade was the first driver to take his pit stop. Lynn McNeese snapped a little bit loose there coming off of turn number 2. It's going to lose some time to Gary Shank. Mark McFadden has come into the pit, so that is our second pit stop of the night. Only 2 takers so far on pit stops. And we've got to imagine we're going to see these leaders come in before too long. They are running quite a bit faster than, actually, they are running about the same pace as the rest of the field. So if some of these drivers get some fresh tires like Dwayne LaPrade did, who has moved up into the top 10 now, I imagine we'll start to see some drop off by those leaders. But they are staying out right now. Lap 33 here tonight. And Gary Shank trying all he can to get a win to end the season here tonight. And here comes Gary Shank down into the pits. So your leader right now will be Lynn McNeese. Second will be Paul Cohen. Third, Jim Locking. And who else comes down with Gary Shank now? And it doesn't look like we had any takers quite yet. We'll see if Lynn McNeese decides it is time when he passes pit road this time by. He is bringing it down pit road now. We'll take a look through who will be our new leader. Paul Cohen will get a lap led with Dean Viney and Paul Zoda sitting second and third. So now does Paul Cohen bring it down? He is staying out right now, lap 35. He's not going to dip it down. He is going to stay out there on the track and lead another lap. And we are seeing also the 71 and the 99 stay out as well. And here comes Paul Zoda down to the pits. So we'll go back out to the man who is leading the race right now, Paul Cohen, going for his third lap lead of the night. And we are seeing Dwayne LaPrade start to make a run, trying to get his lap back. He is battling the 71 of Dean Viney, who's on older tires. Maybe Dean is trying to pressure Dwayne into burning those tires up a little bit more before he gets ahead of them. And Paul Cohen now bringing it down to pit road. So Dean Viney is still on the track. We've got 3 drivers yet to take pit stops. That is Dean Viney, Paul Cohen, who actually just came down pit road. John Stanley is the other driver to have yet to pit. And Dwayne LaPrade will get back on that lead lap. So Dean Viney leads his first lap of the night, gets a bonus point, trying to lock in his second place finish here in the GAC Truck Series. He'll stay out once again, coming to lap 40, leading his second lap of the night. And I'm surprised to see Dean stay out this long. He is getting passed by those drivers with the fresher tires. Timothy Keller, the only driver 2 laps down right now. And maybe Dean Viney is trying to push for a caution here. We aren't really seeing many drivers catch him. It does look like the 12 has got some distance to go. And now here comes Dean Viney down to pit road. So John Stanley will stay out. That'll put John Stanley as your leader as he comes around. So John Stanley now getting his first lap lead of the night. And when does John Stanley elect to come down? And he'll stay out one more lap. Dwayne LaPrade is 26 seconds back, so John Stanley has got a decent amount of time to spend on the track before he needs to get back out there, or get back into the pits, and or lose time while he's out there. He's gonna stay out and lead as many laps as he can, but it does look like he will be coming to pit road here on lap 43. So essentially that should give the lead back to Dwayne LaPrade, who pitted earlier than the rest of the field out here tonight. Does he beat him out of the pits? It does look like John Stanley is starting to come out of the pits right now. Actually, he has not even stopped for his pit stop. So that should give it up to Dwayne LaPrade here. And it has Dwayne LaPrade sitting in your lead right now. And Lynn McNeese is right behind him. And I'm gonna step away here for just one moment, and I'll be right back. All right, it does look like Lynn McNeese has taken back over the lead here on lap 47. And Gary Shank back up here with them. So this front four, or the front three, is right back to where they left off. And I'm really surprised we haven't seen a caution out here tonight. Homestead is, I mean, it's tricky for a lot of guys. A lot of guys before the race were talking about how they weren't sure how to approach the race tonight. Lynn McNeese is out here, and Gary Shank, or Dwayne LaPrade, has actually started to fall off, and I think that's the product of him being out there 10 laps longer than these guys and taking that early pit stop. So I imagine we will see him come into the pits probably around lap 60. They're coming to the halfway point right now. They will be next time, next corner. Lynn McNeese up front now, leading 7 laps. And Dwayne LaPrade now back into fourth. Jim Locking past him for the third spot. Paul Zoda now in fifth. Paul Cohen is in sixth. And then rounding out your field, Michael Palmer 7th, Mark McFadden 8th, Dean Viney 9th, and John Stanley rounding out your field in 10th. Everybody on the lead lap. And it looks like Gary Shank's starting to catch up to Lynn McNeese a little bit. He's not able to get up to him quite yet. Lynn McNeese able to hold on, still leading 10 laps now. And Gary Shank looks to that inside line. It looks like Lynn's going to try to block him. Gary now looking to that high line. He's trying to find a spot to make the pass on the 25 or on the 84 of Lynn McNeese. Hasn't quite found that spot yet. And now we're starting to see the drop off. Gary Shank going back almost half a second now on Lynn McNeese, and it does look like Jim Locking starting to catch up to these guys, starting to get into that talk about maybe finishing or getting another win here in GAC this year. And it does look like the gap is extending for Lynn McNeese here as they head to lap 58. 15 laps now led for Lynn McNeese. And we still haven't had a caution out here tonight. It's been pretty clean running by the 10 drivers remaining on the field. Timothy Keller did take it behind the wall. And Dwayne LaPrade goes one lap down as he did take his second pit stop. And did Gary Shank take a pit stop? Because he dropped off pretty quickly there. I'm wondering what happened to him. And I imagine we actually see these drivers come down pit road before too late. Because I mean, you want to be able to get your last pit stop in early if you think it's going to stay green like it is right now. Get up front quicker and be able to gain some time on the guys that are running on older tires. And it does look like Dean Viney now coming off the pit road. And I believe Mark McFadden also took his pit stop. Into the last pit stops of the race, you would think. Maybe one more near the end of this run if the drivers feel the need with tire wear off. We are seeing the difference there because Dean Viney now blowing by the 25 of Gary Shank. And it does look like Gary and Shank and Lynn McNeese are going to try to stretch this as long as they can here tonight. Because these two have yet to even think about pitting, really. So lap 65 here, and we are taking a look through the... Let's take a look through the field, actually. Lynn McNeese started in third tonight and has now led 22 laps and sitting up front. Gary Shank led 17 laps, started on the pole, now sitting in second. Jim Locking started back in 10th, now sits in third. Paul Cohen started second tonight, led 4 laps, now sitting in fourth. Paul Zoda started 8th tonight, has yet to lead a lap, sits in 5th. Michael Palmer started 7th, now sitting in 6th. John Stanley started at the back of the field in 12th, had led 3 laps, now sitting in 7th. Dwayne LaPrade started 6th tonight, led 15 laps, now sitting in 8th. Mark McFadden started in 9th, still sits in 9th. And your last car on the track right now is Dean Viney, who started 5th tonight, led 3 laps, now sits in 10th. And you look at the drivers that did disconnect from the server and take their trucks behind the wall. Timothy Keller started 11th and will finish 11th. And David Gain 4th. Started 4th tonight, will finish 12th. And here comes Lynn McNeese for his final pit stop. Gary Shank going to follow right behind him. So that'll give, it looks like, Paul Cohen a chance to lead some laps, as a lot of drivers actually coming in now to get their pit stops over. So 30 laps to go when Paul Cohen brings his truck around this time. Does Paul Zota try to stay out and lead one lap tonight? Paul Cohen looks like he's coming to the pit. So is Paul Zota. So that should give up the lead now to Michael Palmer if he elects to stay out there one lap. And it does look like he will. Michael Palmer, John Stanley, Dwayne LaPrade, Lynn McNeese, Gary Schenk now all on your lead lap. Jim Locking will get back on the lead lap. And it does look like Michael Palmer, the only driver yet to take his last pit stop. First driver on the field to have a pit stop was Dwayne LaPrade, who's currently sitting in 5th. And here comes Michael Palmer down into the pits. So that should round out our last pit cycle here on lap 72. Michael Palmer getting that one lap lead. Is he going to beat, though, John Stanley? And it didn't look like he did. John Stanley leading his 4th lap here on lap 73. Dean Viney is still 1 lap down. As he's just coming off pit road, he should be able to get around John Stanley pretty easily on those fresh new tires. John Stanley, the only driver who has yet to pit, I believe. Let's take a look here to see when his last pit was. John Stanley's last pit was on lap 43 after he received a black flag and had to bring it back around. So 25 to go next time around for these guys. No cautions out here tonight. They have been battling out there and ticking away these laps here tonight in the championship for the GAC Truck Series. John Stanley still out there leading these laps. And I imagine he is going to want to be coming down pit road before too long because he has Dwayne LaPrade 9 seconds back and he is gaining fast. So John Stanley's still staying out there, still leading these laps, now 9 laps led. And he's coming close to the 20 to go. Maybe he's hoping we get a late caution here, and it is going to put him in a good position to get a win here. Right now, He has lost another second. Here he comes down pit road. He's coming with 21 to go. And will he have enough time to catch back up to the field and get back near the front? But now, Dwayne LaPrade is actually getting passed by Lynn McNeese. We got a battle up front for the lead. And it does look like Lynn McNeese now going to clear him as he's going to have the inside line going into turn number 1. He does make the pass, does clear him. So Lynn McNeese steals the lead back from Dwayne LaPrade, who thought he was going to have a chance to get some more laps led here tonight. So with 20 to go, let's go up to our leader, who is Lynn McNeese. And he is now 0.7 ahead. Gary Shank, though, coming up hot as him and Jim Lockie now two seconds back from these guys, and they are chipping away at that time. $18 to go, and Lynn McNeese now out almost 2 seconds from the rest of the pack. Jim Locking 2 seconds back, is 2 seconds back from our leader. So let's go back and watch this second place battle, because Jim Locking has just made a pass on Dwayne LaPrade for that second place. And now Gary Shank trying to get into the top 3 and get a podium finish here for the end of the GAC Truck Series. $17 to go now, coming to $16 to go for Lynn McNeese. Oh, yep, there we go, 16. He does have 32 laps led tonight, the most of any driver. And we haven't seen much of a change up front because Lynn McNeese has pretty much sealed the deal. We haven't seen Jim Locking or Gary Schenk put up much of a fight. They do have it back to 1.8. It was at 2 seconds at one point. So they have fought back a little bit, but I don't know if they have what's left in the tank for 13 laps to make up all that time. They are going to drop it to 1.7 here. And you got to start to wonder, will Lynn McNeese hold off a little bit to try not to burn those up? And we are seeing Lynn McNeese battle back that lead to 2 seconds once again. $11 to go here. And Lynn McNeese out to a 2.1 second lead. Second place is Jim Locking. Third place, Gary Schenk. Fourth is Dwayne LaPrade. Fifth, Paul Cohen. Sixth, Paul Zota. You go back to seventh, it's Mark McFadden, Michael Palmer in eighth, Dean Viney in ninth, and John Stanley rounding out your top 10 on the track tonight. Can now Jim Locking hold on for 9 more laps to secure a second place finish over Gary Schenk, who put up a fight near the front most of the race tonight. Eight laps to go. Let's go out to... Actually, no, let's stick with this because Gary Schenk looks to be trying to get ahead of Jim Locking. Does he... We're going to keep watching this because Gary Schenk has been right in that battle with Jim Locking here near the end of this race. And let's see, do we have actually any other... We do have a battle. Let's go back to Paul Zota, who's going to go to the inside of Paul Cohen. He's going to try to make that run on the inside. Paul Cohen should get the runoff coming off of turn number 2. And it looks like Paul Zota is actually going to hang on the bottom line for now. Side by side, they go into turn number 3. And they are going to do the crossover. So Paul on the outside now. Or I guess that's Paul and Paul. Paul Zota on the outside. Paul Cohen on the inside. And it does look like Zota will get the advantage coming off. They're going to do the crossover once again. Does Cohen go high? No, he's going to stick it down low. 6 laps to go here. And Paul Cohen's going to clip the apron, get loose, and he's going to have to let off. So now 5 laps to go, and it does look like Paul Zota will lock himself into that 4th spot. We go up to Gary Shank, who's trying to look for a spot to get around the 91 of Jim Locking. He's going to go to the inside. He's going to peek to the inside, drop back behind Jim because he doesn't have to run. And we're seeing this 25 battle and try to get everything he can here tonight. Coming to the 4 to go. Time starting to run out for that 25 to try to make the pass into 2nd. He's going to look to the outside line here. Does he get the runoff he needs to catch Jim Locking? It doesn't look like he's going to quite get it. He's going to stick it right behind the 91. Now he's dipping to the inside, trying to get the inside line into the corner. He's not going to quite get it. He's going to have to let off, I'd imagine here. No, he's going to keep it down low. Try to arc it through the corner. Three to go for these two, and it does look like Gary Shank going to that inside line. Side by side they go into turn number 3, and Gary Shank should get the advantage. Side by side they're gonna get really close there, almost make contact, and Gary should get the advantage. No, it's gonna be the 91 of Jim Locking still in 2nd as they go into turn number 1. They're gonna do a crossover. 91 goes down low, the 25 will go high. And the 91 will stay up front in 2nd for now. We're seeing a couple trucks get lapped here by Lynn McNeese with 2 to go. And we had the white flag, and we're going to go back. Actually, no, we're going to stick to this battle. We're going to see where things finish out here, because Gary Shank is putting the heat on the 91. And I imagine we see the crossover. We do. Gary Shank to that inside line. Does he get the run that he needs so desperately on the 91? And he does look like he's going to go side by side, coming to the straightaway. Does the 91 of Jim Locking get a runoff? And the 91 will edge out Gary Shank for 2nd. Gary Shank will finish 3rd. But your winner here tonight is the 84 of Lynn McNeese. Let's see if we can pull these drivers in here and get an interview with them. Let's see if we can get our 3rd place finisher, Gary Shank, here. Gary Shank, you got a copy? I've got you muted. 1 minute. All right, you got a copy?
Yeah, I sure do. How are you?
All right, well, you definitely put up a fight there near the end of the race. What was kind of going through your mind the last couple laps?
Oh, I just hanging on the wheel as hard as I could and trying to push it as hard as I could. Jim was a lot better in 3 and 4, and I was a lot stronger in 1 and 2. So it was just kind of hopefully make that pass in 1 and 2, and I got a good run on the last lap, but just didn't quite have enough on that final lap to get the pass done. But yeah, it was a good race with him, and certainly congrats to Len for the win of the race, and I think we got a champion tonight in Mr. Paul Zada, so congrats to him too.
Now, as you look back on the season this year, let's see, you did come in sitting in 4th, and if I'm looking at this right, it may look like you finished 3rd tonight in the points. So, I mean, looking back on the season, what's your thoughts on the season this year?
I love these trucks. They just go to suit my driving style. Unfortunately, I did miss a race. I think the Daytona race I missed, so that really hurt me in the points. So that certainly could have helped maybe give Paul a chase there to the end. But you know, you got to be at every race to win that points championship. So unfortunately, I couldn't do that.
All right, well, you do start on the pole tonight. You lead 17 laps, come away with a 3rd place victory. Or a 3rd place finish. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out to tonight?
Yeah, thanks to you for what you do there in the booth, Dean, for the league. I say it every time, but we enjoy the league that he puts on. Enjoy all the guys that we race around. Always have a good time. Still believe I have some family down there watching your broadcasts. We'll say hello to them and turn it back to you. Thanks again.
All right. Well, congrats once again on your third place finish, and congrats on your great season this year. And we will be back when you guys get back to racing here at GAC.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see you next season. Thanks again.
All right, and we'll move on to our second place finisher, who was Jim Locking, who edged out Gary Schenk there. Jim Locking, you got a copy?
I do. Go ahead.
Well, we asked Gary this, and we got to ask you, what was going through your mind those last couple laps there?
Well, I knew Gary was pulling a strategy there, so I was just hanging on by the skin of my teeth, hoping that my tires were gone, and I think he had a little bit fresher tires, or at least he was saving his tires, and he was going for me, but he had me once, but I got him. I was able to hold it on the outside and stay ahead of him, so I'm happy.
Now, with the this being the championship at GAC, the GAC Truck Series, what was your thoughts on the season? I mean, you had 8 races this year. You're kind of in the same boat as Gary, where that one race that you did miss kind of affected where you finished in points, but you did get a win this year. So what's your reflection on the year, on the season here at GAC?
Oh, the season was great. It's always, this is my favorite league series to run in because we just got a great bunch of guys, clean drivers, and it's just fun. I mean, I had some bad luck, and I didn't get the greatest finishes, so I didn't finish that well in the points, but that's fine with me. I don't care. It's congratulations to Paul for winning the series, and to Len for winning the race tonight, and I'm really happy to have a second place finish here tonight.
All right, and you did start 10th tonight. You come away with a second place finish. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out to tonight?
Just to the usual, the guys at GAC, Dean for doing a great job of running the league, and you guys at Max Speed 3 TV, and you guys cover the race really well, and it's great to have you doing it. Thank you very much.
All right, well, congrats on your season here. You did drive pretty well out there. You were actually one of the more consistent drivers when you were out there, and we will be back with GAC when you guys go back to your next season, so hopefully we get to talk to you when the racing starts up again.
Oh, for sure. I'll be here. God willing, and the creek don't rise.
All right, and let's go on to our winner, Gary Schenk. Or no, wait, Gary Schenk is not our winner. We already talked to Gary. Let's go to Lynn McNeese, who is our winner. Lynn McNeese, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you, Steve.
All right, well, looking at the points here, you were kind of in the same boat as Gary and Jim there. You did miss one race, so that kind of affected your shot at getting a championship this year. But what was your reflection on the season and tonight getting a win?
Oh, I wish I could have been able to run that one more race to see if I could give Paul a run for his money. But thanks to congratulations to Paul there for winning the championship. That was good season.
All right, and you do start third tonight. You come away with a first place finish. Also lead 48 laps. Anybody like to give a shout out to tonight?
I'll definitely got to give a shout out to Dean for setting all this up and putting it all together, and you up there doing the broadcasting, and everybody behind the scenes that help it out here at GAC. And it's been a lot of fun. Look forward to starting next season, see if we can try to give them a chase for the championship on the next one.
Well, congrats once again on your finish here tonight. Congrats on your season. You got 3 wins this year, and it does look like you led the league in wins. You edge out Gary Schenk, who was tied with you before this race.
Oh, I thought Dwayne and Gary there early in the race, they kind of got fast, and I think Dwayne hit the wall and it slowed him down a little bit, or it was going to be interesting between all of us there.
Well, we definitely hope to talk to you when we go back to racing here at GAC. Max Speed TV3 will be covering the races. when you guys get back to racing.
Good deal. That's what we want to hear. We appreciate you putting it on up there for us.
All right, we will get to the results here. Let's get to the results. Let's take a look how they finished tonight. Lynn McNeese will come away with the win. Jim Locking will finish second tonight. Gary Shank will finish third. Paul Zota will get the points win tonight here at GAC. He did not win a single race, yet comes away with 6 top 5s, and it does look like 10 top 10s. So he was very consistent through the year and able to get a victory in the season without getting a victory in a race. Paul Cohen will finish 5th tonight. Michael Palmer will finish in 6th. Dwayne LaPrade will finish in 7th, 1 lap down. Dean Viney will finish 1 lap down in 8th. Mark McFadden will finish 1 lap down in 9th. John Stanley will round out your top 10, 1 lap down. Timothy Keller was 53 laps down after taking it behind the wall, and David Gainforth, 80 laps down, was the first one to take it behind the wall for the night. And with that, I would like to thank everybody for stopping by and checking out the race. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to MaxSpeed TV 3 for more racing here. And like we said, we will be back once these guys go back to racing. And we hope to see you then when GAC goes back.